Moments to be treasured in the form of pictures. Please come together. Thank you. And the next is IS 17880-2022 Geosynthetics Polymer Gabions for Coastal and Waterways Protection Specification. यादगार पल हम सभी के लिए कैद हो रहे हैं फोटोग्राफ्स के रूप में. And the next is IS 17879-2022 Textiles Polyester Textured Yarn Specification. तालियों की गूंज के साथ हम इस पल को सजाते हैं. And the next is IS 17929 Part 2 2022 Fiber Ropes for Offshore Station Keeping Part 2 Polyester. Please put your hands together for that. And the next is IS 18118-2023 Textiles Flat Woven Webbing Slings made from blend of polyester, multifilament and high strength mixed polyolefin tapes specification. A round of applause, please. The next is IS 19022-2023 Medical Textiles Barrier Face Covering Specification. अविस्मरणीय क्षण. And now, the knowledge report. I will request Mr. Mohit Bhasin to please join in. So, ladies and gentlemen, this knowledge report is covering the current scenario of technical textile sector and the road ahead with global best practices. So, we have Mohit Bhasin from KPMG, along with Joint Director FICCI, Amit Kakkar. Thank you for the spontaneous clapping. And after this, we have one more release. And this will be the exhibitors catalog. This consists of the products showcased by the exhibitors. Let us have a resounding of claps one more time. Thank you, everybody. I will now invite Shri Piyush Goyal ji, Honorable Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Textiles, Government of India, for the keynote address. Sir.
Thank you very much, Madam. Honorable Secretary, Ministry of Textiles, Ms. Rachna Shah, Shri H.K. Agarwal, Shri Mohan Kavri, Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Textiles, Shri Rohit Kansal, Shri Rajiv Saxena, Ms. Roop Rashi, Ms. Prajakta Verma, all the captains of industry who have joined us in this program, Technotex 2023, colleagues from the Textile Ministry in Delhi, colleagues from the state government, all the distinguished delegates and participants in this very important 10th edition of Technotex, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Few housekeeping issues before I start. You've all heard the Prime Minister say we must get rid of the colonial mindset. Organizers are FICCI or our ministry? Who's organized this? FICCI? कौन है FICCI से? Henceforth तो जो भी एक कुर्सी बीच में फिर दो कुर्सी ऐसे मत रखो. Keep them all together. It's again a legacy of the colonial mindset. It's a small thing, but why I'm sharing it with all of you is that is what we have to all collectively as a nation start changing in the country and in our mindset. When we talk of Atmanirbhar Bharat, when we talk of a strong, empowered country where 140 crore people are going to participate in its growth, in its prosperity, the message that we want to give to our young generation, the children, that message should be one of, in some sense, equality. After all, I'm a public servant. We all are, except H.K. Agarwal and Mohanji. So I think these are small messages, but they'll have big outcomes. Particularly, it will be imprinted in our children that the country is changing. Another small thing that I really like about FICCI compared to most other organizations is this. I've actually never placed it on record despite attending maybe hundreds of FICCI programs. But since I'm in my home city in Mumbai, I think that I owe it to them. Look at the thought that has gone behind it. A, it gets rid of all those mementos. And at least FICCI knows I don't accept mementos, but it's a complete waste. Mementos get added on. For a few days they are in your office. Then you run out of space, they go to some storeroom. Then they run out of space, after your office they go to the visitor's room. After the visitor's room becomes overcrowded, they go to the storeroom. And then from the storeroom, maybe get recycled. We should get out of this memento business also, and I like it that FICCI plants a tree for every program wherever they are required to give mementos and gives this certificate saying that we've planted a tree on your behalf. And a tree is not just a sapling is planted and forgotten. To the best of my knowledge, I checked up once, they planted the tree, they put a fencing around it without which planting a tree has no meaning, so they spend money. ये कोई पैसा खर्चा बचाने का काम नहीं है. It's probably costlier than a memento. But imagine if we were all collectively as a nation, and we have thousands of such programs all over the country. Maybe Grasim and Birla Group could also consider Diwali gift देने के बदले आप trees plant करिए देश भर में और ये certificate भेज दीजिए सबको. But if you continue to give gifts, please make sure they are made in India. They are one district, one product, handicrafts or handlooms, so that somebody gets income out of it. For those of you who give gifts, I would honestly appeal to you, whether it's in weddings, whether it's in your Diwali or corporate gifting or your conferences, please try to give gifts made out of our craftsmen, our weavers, handicraft, handloom, and you can get all price ranges. It can range from as low as probably 50, 100 rupees to maybe 10, 15, 20 lakh rupees, whatever is your desire to gift. But don't gift it to, don't gift foreign made products and don't gift products which don't add value to our own economy. And certainly handloom handicrafts helps the weavers and artisans who really deserve to be promoted. So that would be a good gesture. And another thought you could do is, if you're planting trees, maybe get some school or somebody, college, school preferably, get involved in the neighborhood and give the children this ownership of this tree. And as he will see it grow, he or she will nurture that tree. Unka naam likho, us bachche ka naam likho uske upar. This belongs to that child. And that is something he will remember all his life. And as he grows older, he will encourage others to do the same thing. I just thought a couple of small housekeeping issues. The directory, as I saw it, looks very smart. Thank you, KPMG, for all your effort in coming up with this vision and strategic roadmap for technical textiles as we work in the next 25 years, Amrit Kal, to make technical textiles truly a driver of economic growth in India. And as most of us are aware, and probably as was mentioned by earlier speakers, nearly 70% of clothing or textiles across the world today are technical textiles or man-made textile products. And the various areas where they can be used. Today on the flight, Mr. Nanavati, maybe is here, gave me some brochures about his company, just to have a look at. And out of that, I've actually picked out 3 and retained them. I don't know if Nanavati ji realized it, but out of the set of brochures that he gave me, I know a particular usage that I have where I need strong, tough material, and therefore I picked out 3 of those brochures and will be using it at a construction site that we are currently working on in the government. And therefore, with technical textiles having such a vast range of usages, my own feeling is that this is the area of the future. And I would urge participants, both from the traditional textile industry, entrepreneurs or startups who are looking at new ideas, new business propositions, and large corporations also, to consider expanding rapidly in the technical textiles field, where I think there's tremendous growth potential. We barely touched the tip of the iceberg. Even internationally, our share of the global market is probably a couple of percent, 2 or 2.5%. Our own domestic production, Agarwal ji just gave us the figures, that while we produce about 20 or 22 trillion worth of, 22 billion worth of technical textiles, we export only 2. So our own consumption is about 20 billion. I would think, and I don't know what the report's final findings are, but I won't be surprised if the Indian market will grow probably faster than 10-12% if we are able to showcase its uses for alternate purposes. And to my mind, this industry by 2047 should be at least, if not more, $100 billion or $125 billion industry at the lowest level, at very, very nominal growth rates. But if we were to do slightly accelerated growth rate and more usage for alternate products, I'm quite sure we can shoot for a $200 billion industry in technical textiles. That's the potential that we have. And I would urge all the participants here to really be big and bold in your vision for this industry, your vision for making technical textiles a driver of growth for a developed India by 2047. And within that, my sense is, while cotton textiles, handlooms, all of those will have a very, very important place and will certainly be a far greater employment generator, technical textiles will help us find a rightful place in modern technical usages or modern areas or quality areas or technology-oriented areas where these could be of significant use. My feeling is that even in things like ocean ships or aeroplanes, we are going to see increasingly greater usage of technical textiles. Just like steel got replaced with aluminium, then possibly with lighter alloys, probably the next stage will be technical textiles. So it will clearly be a very strong pillar of India's growth as we go forward. And this particular conference, the Technotex, will help us in showcasing our own abilities, both to Indian companies, to the rest of the world. I don't know whether we had architects and construction industry also come in here, whether we had the engineering industry come in here to have a look and feel of what all India can offer. I do believe probably more webinars or conferences or seminars with technical people from different possible user sectors, some of which may be articulated in this report, where the textile industry can showcase the various uses where this can be useful. I mean, very clearly what I saw this morning in terms of what it can do for valves, what it can do for pumps, what it can do for pipelines, was quite an eye-opener. And I would urge all of you as stakeholders in this industry to earn the trust of the world as reliable, high-quality suppliers of technical textiles and products made out of such textile material, so that our market share globally can be significantly expanded. Yesterday, we were at Bhilwara and Chittorgarh and had an occasion to visit some of the textile industries over there. I was truly impressed by the scale of operation, by the modern technology used by some of the units in a remote area like Bhilwara, also in Chittorgarh. And I feel that it's time that we started looking at scale in the textile industry and more composite plants in a bigger way. We'll be more cost effective, we'll have good quality with modern technology as we grow in scale, and we'll have the ability to meet the needs of large corporate buyers across the world. I have in fact been approached by many large companies in recent times from Europe and the US who say that they cannot find high quality suppliers for volume supplies which they require, and therefore they are forced to go to other geographies for the large volumes that they require, even though many of them would prefer to have a relationship with India. They want to see India and their resilient supply chains. They want to work with a democracy, with a country which has transparent rules-based systems. And in that context, I think it's time India looked at growth at scale and speed. Because unless we really meet the needs of the world quickly, we may lose the opportunity, we may miss the bus. And today is really a ripe time. It's the time to capture world markets. We've had two free trade agreements with UAE and Australia, which came into force last year, calendar year 22. We are in active negotiations with at least 2 or 3 other countries and with the European Union, a group of 27 countries. I do believe we'll see some news on the countries, certainly on the European Union. It may take a little longer time because there are 27 countries which have to come on the same page. But the direction is to become an international player. We see India playing an important role in the world economy. And no country in the world, friends, has become a developed nation without playing an important role or being a part of global supply chains. We'll have to integrate our economy with the world, particularly with the developed economies, if we want to see prosperity and growth and development of our economy to the levels that truly will reflect our potential, our capabilities, our abilities, and the desire of our young population. The world today is looking up to India. We also have the G20 presidency. Several programs have already got initiated. World leaders are coming to India in different forums, the ministerial dialogues. Today, in fact, the Honorable Prime Minister addressed the Finance and Central Bankers Track meeting. We'll have all the foreign ministers coming for a G20 meeting on the 1st or 2nd of March in New Delhi. There's a lot that's happening across the country. And this reflects the growing strength and recognition across the world of India's importance and strategic or geopolitical relevance in the emerging world order. Businesses cannot be far behind. While of course we have B20 as an engagement group along with G20, and over the year there is planned to have nearly 200 meetings, big and small, of B20, which will mean nearly 100,000 participants from across the world coming to India in the course of B20 discussions. We also will have the Trade and Investment Working Group ministerials. We'll also have the Startup 20 meetings, which has been launched for the first time during our presidency. A lot of opportunities to showcase India's strengths. And I would urge the technical textile industry and the textile industry as a whole to grab these opportunities, to grab the ability to showcase what we can do, how we can support global efforts for friendshoring. Friendshoring would mean working with friendly countries, working with economies which are not inimical to the interests of Europe, US, and the other developed nations today. And therefore, as the Honorable Prime Minister often says, and I was going back into time, this actually is a thought, as Mr. Lalbhai will remember, that Prime Minister Modi had articulated when he was in Gujarat, the 5F principle. The principle of farm to fiber, fiber to fabric, and in fact, they had said fiber to factory. Factory included fabric and garmenting and all of that. So farm to fiber, fiber to factory, factory to fashion, and fashion to foreign. And to my mind, that is going to be the way forward. He had that vision nearly a decade or more ago. But I think the relevance echoes even today for that same vision. And we have today here raw material suppliers, We have many participants who are up the value chain into fabric and technical textiles and products made in factories. After this program, we are going to go to the NIFT campus, the National Institute of Fashion Technology, for their convocation at Navi Mumbai. So we'll cover fashion also today. I don't know whether tonight you have any plans to engage with the exporters of textiles. We could have covered the full 5F circle today. But I'll of course be meeting many of the exporters in the CEO roundtable after this. So great possibilities. The India outlook is good. The growth drivers are available. All trends are positive. What we need are medium-term and long-term plans, actionable agenda, focused efforts to expand our business both in scope and size and scale. And towards that, I have two requests to make of all of you. One, we have the Technical Textile Mission, the National Technical Textile Mission. Prime Minister Modi realized that we'll have a lot of research activities required and a lot of innovations to be brought out, where newer uses of technical textiles can be brought out and can be offered to the rest of the world. We have a fund of nearly 1,400 crores, a 1,400 crore rupee fund seeking your attention. So far, we only have had about 250 or 300 odd crores worth of proposals for technology research, development activities. We have also allowed, I think, some machinery development within that fund for technical textiles, which should, I think, be useful for all of you. I would urge all of you, please see what new research of products, what new research of that basic textile material, new compounds, new fabrics, new composites, new final products. What can we do to capture the world markets? And we would urge the private sector. I think as the scheme stands, it needs a government-sponsored institute as a partner with them. But we would be happy to offer all the 8 technology institutes that we have, the BITRA and NITRA and Ahmedabad ITRA, all of these associations to support any private sector initiative. The IITs or other government engineering colleges all over the country can also be a resource. Whoever is closest to your place of work, please partner with them, get high quality scientific rigor into your innovations, into your research activities, and we'll be happy to fast track your proposals. We have a team working on this in Delhi. Mr. Saxena in the ministry is looking after this activity. I would urge all of you to see that. Do you have a website of that? I would suggest that you share that website on every possible occasion, and I would urge all of you to come up with some proposals in that respect. Also, we have the Samarth scheme where we train technical manpower. So far it's been largely focused on cotton textiles and garmenting and stuff like that. Is technical textiles also included in that? We are happy to formulate a special scheme within Samarth for technical textiles so that even high quality manpower can be skilled. Can we do that in the... Oh, great. So now you have 2 schemes to work on. In Samarth, we can offer technical training to create skilled manpower for your businesses. And in the NTTM also, we have a component of skilling, where we can look at higher upper end people being trained, technologists or people with greater skills to run high quality machines or robotics and all of that. I would urge all of the industry participants, and my own desire is that this skilling activity is best done in industry, on the job training. So you could have some small skill development center in your unit where you do some small classroom basic training, and then those people can do on the job training so that you will also get resource and you'll get a trained resource by the time it comes out of your program. Of course, there'll be attrition. Some of them will get better jobs and go, but I'm sure some will stay with you. And in the overall context, just like some may leave you and go somewhere else, some trained people from somewhere else may also come to you. So don't put in any job bonds, please, but please encourage more training. And we would like to see, and if I may venture to suggest a number, if all of you are agreeable, and Grasim may also kindly take a lead in this, I would like to urge the technical textile industry to at least have a target of 2 lakh people being trained. Is that a fair number, Agarwal ji? ज़्यादा नहीं है 2 लाख. ताली बड़ी हल्की फुल्की सी है, कम है. आप बताएं क्या नंबर होना चाहिए. वी आर ए लिसनिंग गवर्नमेंट. 10 लाख कितने समय में? तो 2 लाख 2 साल में करें तो आई एश्योर यू हम 10 लाख के लिए फंड्स अवेलेबल करवा देंगे. और अगर हो सके, अगर आपकी अनुमति हो, ऑर्गेनाइजर्स, मोहन जी, आपका नाम क्या है भाई साहब? मोहित रैना. फ्रॉम विच कंपनी और विच सिटी? मुंबई. यार बॉम्बे मत बोलो, मुंबई है. So Mohit will chair a subcommittee which will design and monitor this program. Good. He's good to go. So kindly formally institute a committee from the Ministry of Textiles. Mohit will chair that. It'll be run by the private sector. You may at best give a hand-holding support. Madam is aware, as when she was in Commerce Ministry, about our scale committee. Out of the scale committee, we got the PLI schemes. And today, I think you will all appreciate that's one of the drivers of manufacturing activity in India. And incidentally, scale committee was also completely private sector led by Pawan Goenka originally, and FICCI, CII, all were the drivers of that. We in the ministry were only there for support services whenever called upon. We were not interfering, we were not poking our nose, we were not dictating terms, nothing. So you come up with a good, robust framework and create a good dashboard. Any help required on that, we'll be happy to do. But let's achieve this 2 lakh in a two-year period so that we can aim for much bigger. But even in this 2 year, if you can do more than 2 lakh, I'll welcome it. But why I hesitate to give a bigger number is my own experiences that over the last 2-3 years, we haven't really got enough industry support on this skilling program. So it's going to be an uphill task, Mohit, not very easy, but I'm sure all your colleagues here will help you become successful. All the very best. We already have the PLI scheme going for technical textiles largely. We have about 66 participants. I would urge each one of you to kindly implement your project and make sure you take the benefit of that, because I see a lot of potential in this industry. And instead of being concerned about 2 HSN codes which are included or excluded, aim for much more. Do those 2 HSN codes or 4, whichever you all are all the time complaining are not included. At best, it will not be counted in the turnover. तो अगर 200 करोड़ टर्नओवर कर रहे हैं तो 300 करोड़ करो और बड़ा सोचो. वो 100 करोड़ नहीं गिना जाएगा या जो भी है, इतना बड़ा तो नंबर नहीं है. वो लाइंस का मैंने फिगर्स देखे प्रोडक्शन के और एक्सपोर्ट के. Excluded lines are those which don't contribute to even 5 or 7% of the total production of technical textiles. But I was told that many are used in conjunction with each other, many are kind of correlated or whatever. But let's go beyond this nitpicking and let's go for the jugular, let's go for the big stuff and implement these projects expeditiously. I think the ministry is monitoring. Madam had a review only last week possibly or 2 weeks back with all the stakeholders. So I'm sure the PLI will also get good traction and good results. We on our part are trying to come out with a further addition of PLI for finished products. May not be directly useful for you, but possibly some of you could also take the benefit, those of you who make finished products or garments and things like that. We have the circular economy, which is catching a lot of traction. In fact, Honorable Prime Minister wore the jacket, Modi jacket, which was offered to him at the Sera Energy Week in Bengaluru. And of course, that was the day I think he spoke in Parliament, right? Of course, there's a big contrast between the Prime Minister wearing a circular economy product made out of plastic, used plastic PET bottles, and somebody else wearing a Louis Vuitton scarf. But be that as it may, I think it's important that we all also focus on the circular economy. And as we develop our technical textiles, let's also look at usages for whatever is the waste coming out of technical textiles or the used products, how they are going to be either disposed of or recycled. I think that could also be an area of research if it is required, or an area of business activity. I would urge all of you to keep sustainability as an important element of all the work that you are doing. So that for all those students here, and I'm told there are many students from my home area where I was born and brought up and stayed for the first 36 years of my life. I'm told there are students from VJTI over here. Any students from VJTI? Oh, wonderful. I'm from Batunga also, Don Boscoite. And I've come campaigning at the VJTI campus to get the votes of all the teachers and faculty members very often. There are students also from IIT here. Ah, wonderful. So it's great, really proud of all of you from all the institutes, IIT, VJTI, CIT. All of you are contributing to, sorry? ICT. Oh, UDCT also I've campaigned a lot. That's right. And you have some very illustrious alumni from UDCT. But wonderful to see so many technocrats in the audience, because you are the ones who are today holding the Indian flag high across the world. And I say this for two reasons. One, the world is looking up to India for our STEM graduates. They recognize that today India is producing the highest number of STEM graduates, and they are driving innovation, they are driving technology, they are driving new age businesses. Look at the newspaper today. Two big announcements. Ajay Banga being nominated by US President Joe Biden for the World Bank President's position, and a colleague chartered accountant. I have to balance, I can't just let the engineers go whole hog. Puneet Ranjan being appointed as the CEO of SAP, which is a technology company. So India is really emerging, and Indian talent is taking center stage in the world. And I would like to compliment all of you for the wonderful study that you are doing, the knowledge that you are acquiring, and the good work that you are doing. Many of you already alumni and all the students who will start contributing to making India a developed nation. And I'm recognizing your presence today because I think all of us, if I can include myself with you to make sure that nobody feels offended, I think all of us who are a little bit past our prime or youth will have to take responsibility to leave behind a better planet for our children. We'll have to collectively make sustainability a part of our lives, a part of our mission, a part of our day-to-day engagement at work. And therefore, in this Amrit Kal, I would urge all friends assembled here to focus on two things. And I quote Prime Minister Modi, something which he is very passionate about. Friends from Gujarat would be surely aware that he was talking about this even when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. But as Prime Minister now for nearly 9 years, he has consistently, right from 2014, spoken about Z, zero effect, zero defect. And if all of us and our young generation sitting in this room can all ingrain this in our very thinking, in our very being, in everything that we do, whether at home or office or workplace, whether at a MICE or a conference like this, at a seminar or at a party, even at Mood Indigo, by the way. Let's all of us make quality and sustainability both as our mantras for growth, our mantras for the future, our mantras which will help us in saving the world from the kind of colossal tragedies we are seeing all around us, from all the pain and despair and tragedy that climate change is possibly causing across the world. Mumbai also is one of the cities which has been categorized as high risk due to impact of climate change. And therefore I feel collectively we have a big responsibility enjoined on all of us. Let's work together to make the future a better future, a brighter future, high quality future, and therefore I'm glad BIS has come out with 6 standards, or rather 7 today. Yeah, we are exactly 7 of us on stage, so there must have been 7. 7 standards amongst many more which they are planning to come up with. We are looking for quality control orders also to be institutionalized in the days to come. I was just now told a few minutes ago that there's a concerted effort and attempt by a few vested interests, both in India and abroad. और आजकल तो विदेश में लोगों को चिंता हो रही है कि भारत इतनी तेज गति से आगे बढ़ रहा है, तो बहुत सारे एफर्ट्स हो रहे हैं भारत को डिरेल करने के। तो अभी मुझे बताया गया कि क्वालिटी कंट्रोल ऑर्डर में भी विदेश में एक मुहिम चल रही है कि भारत क्यों ये QCOs ला रहा है, भारत को रोका जाए। तो मैं चाहूंगा कि हम सब मिलके इन क्वालिटी कंट्रोल ऑर्डर्स को स्थापित करें, रिकॉग्नाइज करें, एक्सेप्ट करें, अडॉप्ट करें, इंप्लीमेंट करें, जिससे भारत के प्रोडक्ट्स वर्ल्ड क्लास होने लग जाएं। भारत के प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे हो जिसके सामने दुनिया का कोई प्रोडक्ट खड़ा ना हो सके। मैं थोड़ा मिसकोट हो गया था, भिलवाड़ा में मैंने एक बात रखी थी कि असली भारत की ताकत इतनी है कि हम ना सिर्फ आत्मनिर्भर बन सकते हैं, पर हम दुनिया को हमारे ऊपर निर्भर बना सकते हैं। I was quoted as saying आत्मनिर्भर भारत means making the whole world dependent on you. That is not what I said. I had said, हमारे पास इतनी काबिलियत है, इतनी ताकत है कि हम सिर्फ आत्मनिर्भर नहीं बने, आत्मनिर्भर तो बनना ही है, हम अपने आप को भी आत्मनिर्भर बनाएं और पूरे विश्व को भारत के ऊपर निर्भर बनाएं। ये मूल मंत्र लेके हम अगर आज यहाँ से जाते हैं, मेरे मित्र स्टूडेंट्स भी और टेक्नोलॉजी से भरपूर युक्त ये टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स की इंडस्ट्री के प्लेयर्स भी, तो मुझे लगता है कि वास्तव में ये टेक्नोटेक्स 2023 10वां एडिशन होने के कारण भी और एक बड़ा मैसेज लेके यहाँ से हम सब जाने के कारण भी ये आगे वर्षों वर्षों तक ये एडिशन टेक्नोटेक्स का याद रहेगा और एक प्रकार से रास्ता बताएगा कि आगे भारत के डेवलपमेंट में हमारे वस्त्र के क्षेत्र ने कैसे एक बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन किया, कैसे एक बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले किया। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
आज के इस महत्वपूर्ण अवसर पर उपस्थित सभी को संबोधित करते हुए आपने अपने बहुमूल्य विचारों की सौगात हमें दी। हम दिल की गहराइयों से आपके प्रति आभार ज्ञापित करते हैं। And now the vote of thanks will be proposed by Mr. Mohan Kavri, Chairman and Mentor, FICCI Technotex SME Organizing Committee and Chairman, Supreme Nonwovens Industries Private Limited.
Namaste. Respected Piyush Goyal ji, Srimati Rachna Shah, Mr. Rajiv Saxena, Shri H.K. Agarwal, Mr. Kansal. We conclude this 10th edition of Technotex on a confident note that we are on track to achieve our target for technical textiles at 2047. It is the leadership and vision of our dear Prime Minister Narendra Modi that inspires us. Under his guidance, India has made significant progress in developing its manufacturing capabilities. His emphasis on technology and innovation has created an enabling environment for business. Government initiatives and policies will continue to create an ecosystem that fosters development and growth of manufacturing, ultimately leading to a stronger and more resilient economy. With our entrepreneurial spirit and abundance of human talent, combined with the government's initiatives, India will definitely become a leader in technical textiles, both domestically and internationally. We must continue to collaborate and work together to realize the full potential of technical textile industry. The prospects are bright, and with the right vision, resources, and partnerships, we can build a future that benefits not only our industry, but the country as a whole. I once again thank Shri Piyush ji for his valuable contributions at this conference. My thanks to FICCI and its executives for organizing this annual benchmark industry event for the benefit of technical textile industry. Additionally, my sincere thanks to all my industry colleagues who, by their participation and presence, have made the event a great success. Finally, my deep appreciation of all the service providers who have taken care of the smallest details. Thanks to one and all. With due apologies, Piyush ji, I never read a prepared speech. I did it because I was scared of you. But after hearing you, I am going to the second part of what I wish to say, because I always speak from the heart. What has changed in the last few years? Modi ji and his colleagues like Piyush ji have taught us to take pride in ourselves, to believe in ourselves. If you have these two things, you don't need anything else. I beg to differ with one of the statements you made. You referred to yourself and your colleagues from the ministry as people who are public servants serving the public. Please, Mr. Agarwal and myself also serve the public. Here I will tell you a small incident that happened in my home some years back. I was sitting with my son, who's up there, Amit. We were trying to review what we have done. Basically, we are discussing how many factories, how much turnover, and all such kind of things. When suddenly my son stopped me and said, "Daddy, what nonsense are we discussing? There is only one thing which should concern us and which should give us satisfaction, and that is how many people we have given jobs." I think as entrepreneurs, that is the greatest service we give to our country. There are mostly young people, or at least a good percentage of young people in this crowd. And when I meet young people, I feel confident about the future of India. But I have one request. We are every day seeing in the media and reading in the newspapers about startups. Please, we need startups in manufacturing. A country of our size and our population needs manufacturing. It is going to be the foundation of a strong India. I have two thoughts which I always share. I don't know whether this is the right thing, but for good thoughts, any audience is, I think, acceptable. The first is, and these are my own words, we can change India into a paradise. All it requires is a few with the faith and courage to seek this change. The second, which I think is even more important, is a life lived without making a difference to others is a life that has not been lived. So please start living. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kavri. Ladies and gentlemen, on that uplifting note, we conclude this extremely special and significant session. The Honorable Minister and other dignitaries will now proceed for a visit to the exhibition. The CEO's forum will follow thereafter. So all those who are invited for the CEO's forum are requested to proceed to the end of the exhibition, that is Hall 3. The CEO's forum will take place at the extreme end of Hall 3. Please note that this is a by invitation session only.